Welcome to the video. It's Daniel here with Wealthy Clients, and we have a very special guest with us today, John Amador. Welcome on.
Hey, Daniel. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
You are, of course, very welcome, and thank you for coming on here. So tell everybody a little bit about yourself, what you do, and who you help.
Sure, absolutely. My name is John. Again, I'm the owner of Firm Foundation Tax Services. I do tax preparation, tax planning and strategy, and tax resolution. So that's what I do. Former network engineer that switched to a completely new career track, which is taxation.
Awesome. So tell us, what was the problem that you had prior to partnering with us?
As I think about that and I think back to our first conversation, man, I was really frustrated, right? I was trying to find new clients and trying to figure out, how to market to new clients appropriately, and just meeting with nothing but unsuccessful marketing campaigns and complete frustration. I'd literally spent, if you remember our first conversation, I'd literally spent, thousands of dollars and obtained zero results. I mean, not a single client, not one meeting, nothing. And had on a very short marketing campaign, probably spent around $12,000 or more, and just only to get zero results. And that was our first conversation.
Why did you choose to partner with us specifically over any other company, especially after you'd already been burned?
Well, kind of what convinced me to take a shot with you was I'd attended a tax seminar in San Francisco, and I'd met some of your clients, and they had talked about the results that you were able to achieve. And when you and I had our initial discussion, I think probably one of the things that really impressed me, and really I thought, okay, this guy is serious and he knows what he's doing, is that you took some time out of your schedule and offered me some free advice that turned out to be extremely valuable, and you just, out of goodwill and just out of a sense of selflessness, helped me kind of set up some things that were going to be critical to my success that nobody had mentioned before. And that's, why, if you remember our first conversation, that's why I said, man, you're kind of one of the first honest marketers I've ever met. Because I think you could have easily talked me into spending a lot of money. But you know what your response was, John, if we do this now, you're not going to get the results because you're not ready to get the proper results. So you helped me, establish myself and kind of position my business so that when I did begin marketing, that I would have actual, good results, which was huge to me.
Totally. And was there anything in particular about the coaching that helped you?
Oh yeah, definitely. The coaching program that we ended up agreeing upon and going through was amazing. I mean, I don't know what else to say other than that. I mean, it sounds like such a simple and maybe even contrite thing to say, but it's true. It was amazing. I learned so much, and the coaching program, it was it was very specific and very directed to get me to the right place that I needed to be to start seeing results. And I just like how, as we did each thing, um, and you took the time to explain each step in the process, that you really held me accountable for doing those things, right? And when I was off or maybe didn't, you know, quite understand, what the objective was, you took the time to explain it and break it down, and then, say, okay, now go back and do that again. And then we're gonna touch base on this again, and check your results. And that really made all of the difference, right? Because I think, when it's good enough or passable, a lot of people say, well, yeah, that's good enough. But that wasn't good enough for you. And I really appreciated that, right? You held me to a much higher standard than I held myself. And even when I thought, oh, I'm gonna, spice this up a little bit, or make it more, and then you go, man, that now you're too wordy. You're going into too much detail, and I just appreciated the candor, the directness, and the honesty in helping me stay on course and helping me to understand the specific objective of each thing that we were trying to accomplish. And the two things that come to mind for me, like, are the big domino statement and kind of my unique selling proposition, as I would call it. Those two things were just critical to me because I didn't understand those things. And so, you holding my feet to the fire, as I say, was, one of the best things that could have happened to me because, it helped me to understand the importance of each step that we were taking and why it matters when you're doing effective marketing.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that the big domino statement in the USP really helped you out because a lot of people don't have that and they don't know why their marketing flops, you know?
Yeah, for me, I mean, it really kind of helped me understand like what I was trying to accomplish, which I didn't really understand before. And like I've mentioned to you in the past, basically what I was doing is I was throwing spaghetti at the wall and just trying to figure out what would stick. And as I learned, nothing stuck, right? All I was left with at the end of the day was a big spaghetti stain on the wall and nothing really stuck. But using the techniques that you taught me, man, I've able to for the first time, have started to see real results, and that's pretty exciting to me.
That's great, man. So speaking of results, as a result of going through the coaching program and implementing the strategies, what's been the outcome?
So for the first time, ever, I got genuine traffic that really was responsive. And in less than 2 weeks' time, I had 9 qualified appointments, come through my funnel, which was huge. And I mean, that's another thing, right? I mean, what I really appreciated about the coaching program was that everybody tries to make scheduling meetings and funnels and Facebook ads this big mystery. And is it complicated? Yeah, absolutely. And are there things that you have to do? But you kind of demystified it for me in the simplest way, right? By taking me through each step and helping me understand how these things work. And, I understood kind of, where my past marketing campaigns had failed me without those click funnels and other things that were required to make, marketing effective, right? I was sending people to, directly to my website, which was a complete and total failure. I mean, they get to the website and they probably take a look around at every page and there's really no specific call to action, right? And you help me to understand that. Man, you got to have a specific call to action. Like, what do you want these people to do? Because if you don't do that, they're gonna do whatever, and that's going to result in no appointments, which was absolutely the truth.
And I know you said the 9 appointments were generated from $1,000 in ad spend, so about 110 per appointment. How, knowing that you can now just spit out appointments whenever you want, I mean, how does this impact your business? How does going through the coaching and getting this set up, how's your business changed as a result?
Well, I mean, honestly, I mean, to get 9 appointments in such a short amount of time, and I'm looking at 2 sales right now that are coming out of that, which are huge to me. To be completely frank with you, I was considering like maybe this isn't the business for me, right? I was considering, maybe this isn't the business for me. Maybe I should just go back to network engineering. And that was kind of heartbreaking to me because I have a genuine passion to help people with taxation. It's extremely complex and it's very difficult, right? And my clients, they're passionate about me because I'm passionate about them. And so, with the failures of my past marketing efforts, I was really starting to question, maybe this wasn't the business for me to be in because I didn't know how to market correctly and find those correct people. And, I just thank God that I met you, honestly, because you are the person that's, not only restored my faith in marketing, but, restored my faith that this is a business that I belong in, and I can do this. And I just needed to get the right person to coach me and help me through this, that was really an expert in their field. I consider myself to be an expert in taxation, and you're definitely an expert in marketing. And I'm not an expert at marketing, which I, quickly found out through lost money. And so to me, that just made all the difference. I feel like that, the efforts that you put forth, at an extremely reasonable price, by the way. And I'm not just saying that, as fluff, but for less than half the cost of what I'd spent, you've been able to show me things about marketing that were just incredible to me, and have saved my business. I don't know how to really say it other than that. You saved my business, so I'm profoundly grateful.
Well, I'm glad to hear it, man. And just to clarify, half the cost of what you tried in the past.
Yeah, I mean, what a deal, I mean, I think, it's all about perspective, right? But I had to spend, tens of thousands of dollars, and you were able to and get zero results, and you were able to put me through this coaching program, which was very directed. It was very fast, and just start producing immediate results. And even as we kicked it off, man, I have to tell you, I was worried. I was like, oh man, is this really going to work? Is this going to be the thing, or is this just going to be another disappointment to me? And I'm thrilled. I don't know how else to say it, man. I'm thrilled that we've seen the results, and now I'm going to beef up that marketing spend, and get more appointments in, because now I know that it works. And so it's, like I said, it's restored my faith in marketing. And I honestly feel like it's given me a new life, that I can make this business work. So,
Yeah, I always tell people, I'm like, ultimately, at the end of the day, everybody's in two businesses, whether they like to admit it or not. The first business is the thing that you do. In your case, it's the taxation, right? But the second thing that you do is promoting the thing that you do, right? How do you get customers for taxation? And that's a different ballgame. And somebody might say that they're a marketing expert, to your point, but $20,000 later with no results, right? It's kind of tough, because it's just a whole different ballgame. So where do you think you would be right now if you didn't take action and join the coaching program?
oh well, it's no question. I mean, I would be in the same frustrated state that I was in before we had our first discussion. Where I'm considering, like, okay, maybe this is just like maybe a part-time gig for me, not a full-time gig, right? I just need to go back to something I'm great at, which was, I worked in middle management and network engineering for a big cybersecurity company. I made fantastic money doing that. Maybe that's what I need to do, right? I just need to go back to that, and then do taxes part-time during the tax season, and maybe just look at it as a side hustle rather than my full-time business that can, take care of me throughout the year. And now I feel, I feel the complete opposite of that. I feel like, yeah, this is something that I can turn into a successful business for myself, and make that dream come true for me, and, that's, had I not taken those actions, and I had not taken that step of stepped out in faith and just said, okay, I'm going to trust this kid. I mean, he seems like he knows what he's doing, what a satisfaction, right? To like, you proved yourself right, and that's got to feel great. You not only help somebody with their marketing campaign, and someone that's saying, you saved my business, you saved my business, but just to know that your program was completely effective, and that it brought real value to me, which is fantastic, man. I'm so grateful.
Well, I appreciate the kind words, man. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, there's always two risks, You said you were nervous making the decision, and there is the risk of, hey, what if it doesn't work out? but then there's the risk of, what if it does and you never take action? So
Yeah.
with that being said, if somebody's on the fence and they're watching right now, maybe they either want to book a call and they're on the fence and speak to us, or maybe they're thinking about going through the coaching program. What would you say to them?
Look, if you're on the fence, I totally get it. You've probably been disappointed by marketers, marketing experts in the past, and it's completely understandable. But what I would say to you, if you're sitting on the fence, man, um, don't stay there. I mean, nobody wins by staying on the fence, right? And you will not be disappointed in this program. The coaching program is phenomenal. If you follow the steps and you follow the program and you trust the process, you're going to get results. So, man, don't if your business is important to you and it's your dream and something that you're really passionate about, man, get involved in the coaching program. It's going to change your life. So that's what I would say.
Well, John, thanks so much for taking the time and getting on here with everybody. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate you. We'll talk again real soon.